Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is fighting to keep his job. Now, it's election day in Israel, and voters are deciding their nation's future.
That's right. The race is very close between Netanyahu and his main opponent, Isaac Herzog. They both cast their votes earlier today. Dan Raviv joins us now from Washington. So, Dan, Netanyahu announced that if he wins the election, he will never establish a Palestinian state. So what do you think that could do to future peace negotiations? And that's probably, I think, a lot of people in Israel would like that.
Yeah, a couple of things to say about that. One is that he doesn't think he can win any left-wing votes. In general, left-wingers or liberals in Israel want there to be a renewal of negotiations with the Palestinians and a lot of flexibility for Israel to pull out of much of the West Bank in order to make a deal and establish an Arab-Palestinian state. Now, Netanyahu, we're looking at him voting this morning. He was really the early bird in the first hour after the polls opened. Hours before that, he announced that as long as I'm prime minister, there won't be a Palestinian state. That means he's trying to solidify his right-wing voters to be sure they turn out and choose him and not one of the other right-wing parties. He wants to get as many votes as he can so he doesn't look today like he comes in second place.
And the election is really close, right, Dan? What are you hearing from what's going on in Israel?
Well, first, no one's going to get an outright victory. We're going to get results as soon as the polling places close today at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. In the Middle East, that's 10 p.m. They vote till 10 p.m. How about that? We're going to hear the exit poll results. No party is going to win a majority of the parliament. 61 would be a majority. We're probably going to hear that one party got 25, one got about 21. Indeed, Netanyahu and his Likud party may come in second, but then you have to invite in other parties and try to form a coalition. That could take a month or so, and I think Netanyahu has the advantage when it comes to right-wing parties who might form a government. But it certainly could appear like Yitzhak Herzog, the head of the Labor Party, that's been renamed the Zionist Union for this election, could come in first, but I'm not that confident that he will be able to form a coalition.
And I'm wondering then, what is the real difference between Bibi and Herzog? In other words, we know that Herzog would not stop building settlements. We know that he perhaps might be a little bit closer to President Obama. President Obama's on his way out. So what are the real differences between the two?
Well, Vlad, I mean, that's a really good point from the Israeli viewpoint. There's been a lot of tension between Prime Minister Netanyahu and Mr. Obama, but Barack Obama will be gone in less than 2 years. That's kind of the Israeli attitude. And Netanyahu feels that he has to be strong against the Iranian nuclear threat, against Palestinian radicals, and consider what's happening with the Syrian civil war, unrest in Libya, not knowing which way Egypt is heading, and more problems. But the Israeli public is kind of tired of Netanyahu. Herzog, if he has a left-leaning coalition, well, he would change some economic policies at home. He would claim to help with the cost of living, which does show up in the polls as the biggest concern for Israeli voters. But does Herzog seem enough of a leader, a strong guy with commando experience in the Israeli army? No, whereas Netanyahu does. So some Israelis are tired of him, but Herzog, speaks very well, speaks terrific English. It's almost ironic that today is St. Patrick's Day. If Herzog wins, hey, he's from an Irish Jewish family. His father, Chaim Herzog, was from Ireland, moved to Israel, became president of Israel. They're kind of a royal family, the Herzogs, by the way, well known to Israelis. I don't think you'll have an outright winner today. I think we'll have the beginning of a coalition process. Still, the results at 4 p.m. Eastern may be a slap at Netanyahu if he comes in second or does poorly.
Really exciting stuff out there. Thanks so much, Dan Raviv in Washington. Appreciate it.